Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Judge Ashley Willcott. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us. The manhunt for the escaped Alabama inmate and the corrections officer who helped him escape is now over. The fugitive couple was spotted and followed by authorities, resulting in a vehicle pursuit. It then ended with U.S. Marshals officer driving into the couple's Cadillac, causing it to crash. Casey White was taken into custody, and the former corrections officer, Vicky White, was found critically injured from a gunshot wound on the scene. Now, that gunshot wound is thought to be self-inflicted, but we are waiting on the official word from the coroner. Vicky White would eventually succumb to that fatal injury. Isabel Rosales has more on this story.
Casey White didn't escape from the facility. He was basically just let out.
Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton calling former corrections officer Vicky White the mastermind behind the whole plan. Investigators say they got a tip Sunday. This Ford F-150 was spotted at a car wash in Evansville, Indiana, about 175 miles north of Williamson County, Tennessee, where the pair abandoned their previous car. Surveillance video from the car wash also showing a man who U.S. Marshals believe to be Casey White.
The surveillance video was key for us because not only did we identify the truck, but when they left the truck on the premises, we saw them enter into a Cadillac, which kept us up to speed on what vehicle they may be in at the time.
Monday, U.S. Marshals spotting Vicky White with a wig on, leaving a hotel in Evansville. Police gave chase. Casey White driving this gray Cadillac, Vicky White in the passenger seat. U.S. Marshals striking their car, the Cadillac rolling over into a ditch. Vicky White died shortly after being hospitalized from what U.S. Marshals believe was a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head.
I don't think she could bear the thought of coming back here and facing us.
Sheriff Rick Singleton says Casey White will be brought back to Alabama, but to a different facility than where he was held previously.
He's not getting out of this jail again. I'll assure you that.
In Evansville, Indiana, I'm Isabel Rosales.
Still with us, attorneys Nima Rahmani, Erica Wilson. One of the things that we're never going to know, but I think everyone's going to ask and try to figure out is, how does this happen? A corrections officer with an excellent reputation. Nobody had a bad word to say about her. She'd been there for years. Erica, how does this happen?
I think it happens when things start to slip through the crack. I think because she had been there for so long, she was very trusted. She knew it, so there probably wasn't the amount of oversight that was probably needed. Because again, even beyond how do you get to that point, like logistically, how does it happen? How do you literally walk out of the jail with an inmate facing federal charges? So I think there's definitely some investigations that need to be done internally to kind of figure out how she was able to just literally walk out of this facility with him unnoticed. I get that she's a correction officer, but there still needs to be checks and balances internally to ensure that things like this don't happen.
And then she turned her whole life upside down, so to speak. She sold her house. I mean, she betrayed her whole family. But let's listen, before I get your reaction, Nima, to more of what the sheriff had to say in reaction to the end of this manhunt.
I'm very disappointed that it ended this way with Vicky taking her life. That's not something we would have wished on her. We did want her to come back here and face the charges. Knowing Vicky the way we've known her over the last several years, I think as much concern to her about coming back and facing charges, I think what really bothered her more was coming back and facing her family and friends. She betrayed her co-workers. She betrayed the sheriff's office, and knowing her like I did, I don't think she could bear the thought of coming back here and facing us. What in the world was she thinking? She's been in corrections 17 years. She's seen this scenario play out time after time where people escape, and she knew they always got caught. I think she knew that the day was going to come that they were going to get caught. So I just don't understand it, and I don't know that I ever will. When I got word that they had been captured and that she was injured and had been shot, I think that she pretty much was on life support from that moment on. All the information I've received is that it was self-inflicted, but I'm sure forensics will determine that for a certainty. This whole fiasco is just totally so out of character for her. You know, her friends, her family, I mean, you know, we're all just devastated by the fact that she would do something like this to start with. And, of course, we're devastated that she's taken her life. Most jail escapes, especially from county jails, are not well planned out. They're more, you know, get out of here, and then they get out and they, you know, say, what do I do now? This was a different kind of escape. I mean, it was very well calculated and you know, planned. And, you know, most inmates, when they get out of jail, they have absolutely no resources. You know, they're on the run. They don't have a car waiting for them. They don't have thousands of dollars in cash in their pocket. They don't have fresh clothes to change into. You know, so that really presented some real challenges for the investigation and the search, because they had so many resources at their disposal. The last person in the world any of us thought would have pulled a stunt like this was Vicky White. She was a by-the-book employee, and for her to do something like this is just, you know, we just can't comprehend it.
So unexpected, but Nima, could it be that this criminal who was behind bars was just that good of a manipulator?
And it's possible. Apparently, they had a 2-year relationship. They were talking on the phone going back to at least 2020. Let's not forget, in the beginning, we thought that Vicky might have been a victim. She might have been kidnapped. And to hear the sheriff talk, it reminds me of the neighbors on the local news when they say, oh, they seem so normal. I can't believe that this has happened. Well, look, it's tragic what happened to Vicky, but let's not mince words. She betrayed the badge, she betrayed her family, she betrayed the community, and she's a criminal. Now, obviously, no one wanted her to take her own life, but I don't feel sorry for her at all. She cost, you know, countless man hours, law enforcement hours, marshals. They're getting hundreds of tips, a nationwide search for Casey White, who's armed and dangerous and could have killed a lot of people. So I'm not shedding a tear for Vicky White here today. She's a criminal just like Casey.
And there were all kinds of weapons seized, as you both know, and that means that he was also allegedly planning really a shootout, suicide by cop, if it resulted in that. So they're fortunate no one else was injured. Erica, what do you think life in jail is going to be like for Casey White? Any different now that he's been returned to jail?
Absolutely. It would be crazy not to. I think he's going to have the maximum amount of oversight. He can't be trusted. I mean, again, we don't know the circumstances. It could be it's a tale as old as time, where you have officers kind of falling in love with inmates. It could be that, or it could be manipulation. But either way, he was able to essentially walk out of the jail. And so I think they have learned that he has that capability to be able to escape. And as Nima indicated earlier, it was well plotted, it was well thought out, and they had a lot of resources. So it would not be reasonably prudent to not put him in like the maximum amount of security.
And as we heard the law enforcement say, he will not get out of jail this time.